Honorable Men Discord. New York divorce attorney James Sexton said he's not giving his employees 2 weeks off. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So let's get straight to this. I came across this clip, and I'm very familiar with James Sexton. I've seen a few of his interviews, and I think the guy's very intelligent. Obviously, he's a lawyer. But aside from that, I feel like he's insightful. But when I saw this clip, I said, what has gone wrong with James Sexton? What is he thinking? All right. But I'm going to play this video and I'm going to talk about it further. And I'd like to know your thoughts on what he had to say. So let's get into it.
Working for the Cheesecake Factory. You are not working for Google. You are working for a high net worth matrimonial law firm that focuses in litigation. So at the interview phase, I am telling you, this is not a normal work environment. A lot will be expected of you, and it will be exhausting. That's why you're going to be paid double what market gets paid. Like, I wildly overpay everyone in my employ, from my administrative assistants to my paralegals to the attorneys who work for me. They are all double, triple what market would be, because I want excellent people who would literally hide bodies for me if I asked them to. And I am going to demand a tremendous amount of them. And every time I'm interviewing people, I put them in touch with former employees of mine, not current. Former employees of mine who've left and moved on to greener pastures. And I say to those employees, tell them candidly what it's like to work for me. Tell them candidly what I'm like as a boss. These are people that I have no power over anymore. And I tell them, please be honest, because this person's going to find out what it's like. It's a high stress environment. I like to think I'm highly loyal to my people. But yeah, you don't get to take 2-week vacations. I don't get to take 2-week vacations, and I'm signing the front of the check and you're signing the back of the check. So that's how it works, gang. And if you want a job where I had so many, I'm like, well, my employer gives me 5 weeks vacation. Good for you and for your employer. You are not working for the Cheesecake.
All right. Let me just say this. 2 things stood out for me as I played this in real time. As an attorney, as a man who, when you're in court, the ability to express yourself and convey your message clearly, concisely, is of utmost importance. All right. The vocabulary you use, the words in which you use, is extremely important. So one might say, well, he's not in court. He's being himself. He's more of himself now than he would be in court, right? Because it's just an interview. I was blown away by the fact that he said he would want employees that would literally dispose of a body for him. I'm paraphrasing, right? Of all the things he could have said to explain just how loyal he wants his employees to be, just how devoted he'd want his employees to be, I was blown away by the fact that he said that. And again, I'm saying this as someone who has seen some of his other content, his other interviews, and I think he's a very interesting, intelligent man. All right. He's clearly successful, but that has nothing to do with what I just brought up. So that was the first thing that stood out for me, was him using that reference. All right. And then the other one was that he said that when he's interviewing, during the interview process, he says that he allows the candidates to speak with his former employees, and he used the word, well, he used a few words. He said that he no longer has power over anymore. Again, this is an attorney. This is an intelligent man. Why would he use the word power? Why not authority over? Why not authority? And those of you watching this might say, well, he's going off the cuff. It's just an interview. He's letting his hair down, so to speak. But I found that very interesting. To me, it's telling in the words that people use when they're being themselves. So again, this is not a courtroom, which is why now I look at him with a different lens to say people I no longer have power over. Now, here's the thing. Does your supervisor, does your boss have power over you? I'll leave that for you guys to answer. All right? Whoever you report to, do they have power over you? Maybe. Is them having power over you a bad thing? Maybe, maybe not. But it's one thing to know that you have to report to someone who has authority over you. And it's another thing for that person, when speaking about you in the past tense, says they no longer have power over you. The question is, am I reading into this too much? Too deeply? Am I reading into this too deeply? And I don't know. But I'm one of those, the type of person who I do analyze things. Sometimes I overanalyze things, but I'm fine with that. That's just the way I am. But the question is why would he use those words as an attorney to describe former employees? All right. Now, the reason why I zeroed in on him using the words no longer have power over anymore, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact order in which he said it, but that's pretty much what he said. He no longer has power over those former employees. The reason why I say that is because when he says he's not giving people 2 weeks vacation, it seems like a power trip to say that. What's wrong with giving them 2 weeks vacation? Now, on the next video I have, someone jumped in the comments and said he's not saying that he won't give people 2 weeks vacation. He actually gives them up to 5 weeks. What he is saying is that he won't allow you to do 2 weeks back to back. So then the next question I have is, how do you all feel about that? How do you feel about being paid exactly what you'd like to be paid for the amount of workload that you have? How do you feel about only being able to take off a week vacation and no more than that? So you have to take a week at a time, spread out. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's fair? Because you know that old saying, time is money. If someone is paying you the dollar amount that you want, how do you feel about them saying you could only take a week at a time? I give you 5 weeks throughout the year. You can only take a week at a time. They can't be back to back. Do you think that's a fair exchange for your time? So that's what this episode is about. Is that a fair exchange? In this last clip I'm going to play, and let me just go back to this real quick. This was courtesy of Human Talk 1. That's where I got this video from. So I don't know if this interview was actually with Human Talk 1 or Human Talk 1 just pulled this from someone else's content. But with that being said, let's get into the second video.
Vacation, I don't want to hear from you.
Right.
I don't do not call, do not check your email. That's the other thing. When I go on vacation, there's at least 2 or 3 hours a day that I'm checking email and texting and returning calls, always. Mm-hmm. My employees, especially the lawyers who work for me, when you go away, put it down completely. You don't manage a firm. You don't have to carry it the way that I do. So that's why you can't have 2 weeks, but you can have a full week. You can have a full week and you can use that week where you are gone and we will not bother you. I have never called in 25 years of managing a law firm, I have never called one of my employees while they were on vacation with a work-related thing. I've called Colin a few times when he was in Disney to be like, what rides are you guys going on? But it was always just to bask in the joy of it, and anyone who worked for me will tell you I take tremendous joy in seeing my employees thrive. I care a lot about my employees, but I also care about the mission, because the mission is for their benefit too. Mm-hmm. The mission is it's feeding their families. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. This is a firm. I take that seriously. These people trust me to helm this thing and to do it right. So yeah, I take that seriously. And if that means you don't get to take 5 weeks vacation, I don't know what to tell you.
What do you think about that exchange? And as far as him not reaching out to his employees while they're on vacation, that's fair enough. I think most employers don't reach out to their employees while they're on vacation. All right, unless you work for a particular field where an emergency can arise and you are that go-to person in the event of an emergency. Those are the exception to the rules. But for the most part, that's nothing new by him saying that he doesn't reach out to his employees. I mean, it's almost as though he said that after the fact of saying he doesn't give 2 weeks because of the type of work that he's involved in. And listen, I understand when it comes to being a lawyer, there's a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of material you have to read. And if he's running a law firm, I understand, depending on court dates and all the clients that they have in that firm, I understand this is deadline oriented. So you can't just have people saying, "Oh, I'm taking 3 weeks," when you're trying to run an operation like that. So I understand it, but the question is, do you think it's fair? All right. And if you don't think it's fair, that's fine, because at the end of the day, you don't have to apply to work at his firm. And the truth of the matter is, I'm analyzing this, but the truth of the matter is, he's allowed to do that when he runs his business. That's the format in which he runs his business. No one can tell him anything about it. You could take it or leave it. That's the way that is when you're working for a law firm, or you're working for a small company. That's just how it is. Right? Actually, that's how it is in any job. If you don't like it, you could take it or leave it. But the worst thing you could do is complain about it. All right. But I still thought this was interesting enough, hearing that from him, because I never heard him say anything like that. It sounded like it was outlandish. But up to 5 weeks in the year, and he's only allowing you to take 1 week. I mean, listen, for the person who may be single, that might be fine. For the person who has goals, so if he's paying as well as he says he pays, maybe you rough it out for X amount of years until you meet your goal financially, and then you branch out, like he mentioned earlier, moving on to some of his former employees, quote unquote, moved on to greener pastures. So something to think about. But I thought it was very interesting. What's your thoughts? How is your current situation? How does it treat you? Are you a business owner yourself, or are you an employee, and are you satisfied with the amount of time that you get off throughout the years? Let me know in the comment section. But listen, that's all I have on this. As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend or tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget to watch my Q&A interview by No Mercy Harlem on May 8th at 5 p.m. And as always, stay honorable.